Letter 274 by Charles Lamb. May 16, 1821. Dear J.P.C., many thanks for the Decameron. I have not such a gentleman's book in my collection. It was a great treat to me, and I got it just as I was wanting something of the sort. I take less pleasure in books than heretofore, but I like books about books. In the second volume in particular are treasures, your discoveries about Twelfth Night, etc. What a Shakespearean essence that speech of Osrade's for food. Shakespeare is coarse to it, beginning, forbear and eat no more. Osrades warms up to that, but does not set out ruffian swaggerer. The character of the ass with those 3 lines, worthy to be set in gilt vellum, and worn in frontlets by the noble beasts forever. Thou would perhaps he should become thy foe, and to that end dost beat him many times. He cares not for himself, much less thy blow. Cervantes, Sterne, and Coleridge have said positively nothing for asses compared with this. I write in haste, but p24 vol. The line you cannot appropriate is Gray's sonnet, specified by Wordsworth in first preface to L.B., as mixed of bad and good style. P143, second vol. You will find last poem but one of the collection on Sidney's death in Spenser, the line. Scipio, Caesar, Petrarch of our time. This fixes it to be Raleigh's. I had guessed it to be Daniel's. The last after it, silence augmenteth rage. I will be crucified if it be not Lord Brooks. Hang you, and all meddling researchers hereafter, that by raking into learned dust may find me out wrong in my conjecture. Dear J.P.C., I shall take the first opportunity of personally thanking you for my entertainment. We are at Dalston for the most part, but I fully hope for an evening soon with you in Russell or Bouverie Street, to talk over old times and books. Remember us kindly to Mrs. J.P.C. Yours very kindly, Charles Lamb. I write in misery. N.B. The best pen I could borrow at our butcher's. The ink, I verily believe, came out of the kennel. Collier's poetical Decameron, in 2 volumes, was published in 1820, a series of imaginary conversations on curious and little-known books. His Twelfth Night discoveries will be found in the 8th conversation. Collier deduces the play from Barnaby Rich's Farewell to Military Profession, 1606. He also describes Thomas Lodge's Rosalind, the forerunner of As You Like It, in which is the character Rosader, whom Lamb calls Osrades. His speech for food runs thus. It happened that day that Gerismond, the lawful king of France banished by Torismond, who with a lusty crew of outlaws lewed in that forest, that day in honor of his birth, made a feast to all his bold yeomen, and frolicked it with store of wine and venison, sitting all at a long table under the shadow of lemon trees. To that place by chance fortune conducted Rosader, who seeing such a crew of braw men, hoeing store of that for want of which he and Adam perished, he slept boldly to the board's end, and saluted the company thus: Whatsoe'er thou be that art master of these lusty squires, I salute thee as graciously as a man in extreme distress may. Know that I and a fellow friend of mine are here famished in the forest for want of food. Perish we must, vn less relieved by thy fors. Therefore, if thou be a gentleman, you meet to men, and such as are usury way worthy of life. Let the proudest squire that sits at thy table rise and encounter with me in any honorable point of activity whatsoever, and if he and thou prow me not, a man, send me away comfortless. If thou refuse this, as a niggard of thy cates, I will haw amongst you with my sword, for rather will I die valiantly, than perish with so cowardly an extreme. Collier's Poetical Decameron, 174, 8th Conversation. Lamb compares with that the passage in As You Like It, Roman 2, 788, beginning with Orlando's Forbear and Eat No More. The character of the ass is quoted by Collier from an old book, The Nobleness of the Asse, 1595, in the 3rd Conversation. Thou wouldst, perhaps, he should become thy foe, and to that end dost beat him many times. He cares not for himself, much less thy blow. Lamb wrote more fully of this passage in an article on the ass contributed to Hone's Everyday Book in 1825, see vol. I of the present edition. The line from Gray's sonnet on the death of Mr. Richard West was this: And weep the more because I weep in vain. Scipio, Caesar, etc. This line runs in the epitaph on Sidney, beginning to praise thy life. Scipio, Cicero, and Petrarch of our time. It is generally supposed to be by Raleigh. The next poem, Silence Augmenteth Grief, is attributed by Malone to Sir Edward Dyer and by Hannah to Raleigh.